Behind me is a massive inflatable effigy of billionaire Elon Musk. His company, SpaceX, is set to IPO tomorrow. Like the effigy behind me, the organizers of this event say that the value of SpaceX is full of hot air.
Well, Elon Musk is now the world's first trillionaire after what might be the most ambitious launch yet for his company, SpaceX. SpaceX went public today, and anyone can invest in the company. Trading opened at $150 a share, valuing the company at more than $2 trillion. It's the largest initial public offering, or IPO, of all time. Musk rang the Nasdaq's opening bell today from the company's headquarters in Starbase, Texas.
And let me tell you, if people had told me this was gonna happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack. Because I think this company's gonna fail.
Joining us now, NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung. Brian, so many people are paying attention to this. Some folks have said they've even saved up to try to invest today in the stock. It's potentially risky, though, right? Why is today like such a big deal?
Yeah, and again, we have to just step back and acknowledge how big this is. This is going to change the shape of the market because this is the biggest initial public offering of all time. Again, what that means is regular mom and pops can now invest in this company. And that's a big deal when you consider, let's say you're an investor that says, I don't like all the investable opportunities here on Earth. Well, then why not invest in space? That's where SpaceX wants to go. They want to go to the moon. They want to go to Mars at some point. But again, there is a lot of risk associated with this because this is a company that's not profitable. The only profitable part of their business is Starlink, getting satellites up into space. And I should also point out that there's also talk that at some point investing in SpaceX would be investing in Tesla and other of Elon Musk's companies because he's been in this process of consolidating all of his companies. Analysts say merging with Tesla could be a move that could come as soon as next year.
And to state the obvious, if you buy at this level, there's no guarantee it's going up.
All stocks could go to zero at some point.
You mentioned we mentioned that this makes him a trillionaire, which is kind of hard to wrap your head around. Can you help us understand what that means?
Yeah, and I think some visuals might help. But first off, when it comes to just the overall number of 1 trillion, that's above the GDP of 170 countries. That's enough to spend $1 million a day for 3,000 years. And let's say, for example, you wanted to take a look at this within the context of space itself. If you took pennies and you stacked them all the way up, $1 trillion would get you to the moon and back twice. It's a little farther than it looks like on that graphic. And then lastly, in time, 1 trillion in seconds would be 32,000 years. For comparison, 1 million seconds would only be 11 and a half days. So again, it's just a number that the mind cannot comprehend that many commas.
1 million was 11 and a half days, and then it goes to, oh my
Right,
gosh.
and again, in money, Elon Musk has all of that. Yeah. And there's a lot of questions over whether or not one person should have all that power and all that money. I think that's a fair question.
Brian, thank you so much. Brian Chung.
No company has ever been more highly valued at its initial public offering. When shares went on sale Friday, SpaceX was worth $1.7 trillion US.
I give SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all.
Making CEO Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire.
We have the stuff.
Maybe it suits a company with such lofty goals.
SpaceX wants to be able to take you to the moon, take you to Mars, and ultimately beyond.
Starship heading back to the landing zone.
SpaceX seeks to build better and reusable spaceships, satellites that deliver internet around the world, and artificial intelligence.
With the merger, the acquisition of xAI, we now, as a group, own the largest coherent gigawatt-class compute on the planet.
Musk has said the company wants to build data centers for AI in orbit. But xAI's Grok lags behind OpenAI's ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude models. And while the company earns most money from its Starlink satellites, SpaceX actually lost money last year. The columns on the left show its revenue, those on the right show what remains after losses.
What's going on right now is that there's probably an element of hype. There might be an element of cult of personality that's built around Elon Musk. And then there's just maybe reckless speculation as to what you think that this is going to look like in 5, 10, 50 years.
Economist Moshe Lander says Musk's closeness to U.S. President Donald Trump likely helped valuation, and he points out other companies, like Amazon and Walmart, are close in value. but he notes markets can also succumb to gravity.
It's not uncommon to see that these IPOs that create these eye-watering numbers on day one have these eye-watering falls on day two before common sense resumes its way to the market.
For all its astronomical goals and value, SpaceX's future, Lander says, is, quote, up in the air. Nathaniel Dove, Global News.
$1 trillion.
That's crazy.
Right, and it's hard to imagine. So $1 trillion
really
or
is.
trillion of anything, really hard to comprehend. So NBC News tried to help with some graphics.
Okay, so we want you to take a look at this one. So that's a size comparison. So Elon Musk standing next to a Tesla and $1.7 billion. That's just billion with a B. That's worth $100 bills. So you're going to change that stack of bills to $1.7 trillion instead. So the value of the SpaceX IPO. And here's how it actually stacks up next to the Statue of Liberty and a SpaceX Starship rocket.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, so this is really cool. This is another comparison, but instead of dollars, we're going to put it in terms of time. 1 million seconds ago, a million, that's about 11 and a half days ago. 1 billion seconds ago takes you back to 1994, and 1 trillion seconds ago takes you back to 29,000 years BC.
I can't even fathom.
World's first trillionaire. Here's a look at how he got there. Calculating net worth for someone like Elon Musk isn't easy. A lot of his wealth is tied up in private companies, and value in those can be a little tricky. But his wealth primarily comes from 3 different buckets. The largest part of that is his stake in SpaceX, which went public on Friday. He owns about 40% of it, so his stake is valued at about $690 billion. Now pair that with a second bucket, his stake in the electric automaker Tesla. That's valued at about $271 billion at recent stock prices. Musk also has a third, smaller bucket of miscellaneous assets. Estimates from wealth intelligence firm Altrata put the value of his ownership in Neuralink, a brain implant company, at about $5 billion, and about the same valuation on The Boring Company. He also has about $104 billion of other assets. These are other investments, his jet, property, that kind of thing. Putting all those stakes together pushed him just over the $1 trillion mark. Elon Musk's wealth has grown dramatically just in the past year. Late last summer, we estimated that he was worth just a little more than $400 billion. A few weeks ago, we checked back, $811 billion. And of course, now he's crossed the $1 trillion threshold. Most of that huge increase since last summer is really about SpaceX. Investors are very bullish about it, and it has even managed to counteract some declines in Tesla's share price. Elon Musk's wealth is not money in the bank. He can't just go out and spend it. Almost all of it is tied up in these companies. And of course, he's not only the biggest shareholders in these companies, he's also their leader. If he starts selling, that could drive the share price down. He can borrow against his holdings to some degree, but ultimately, his fortunes are tied up with the fortunes of these companies. It's notable that this is happening at a time when a lot of Americans are struggling with the price of gas at the pump or other everyday costs like groceries and housing. Wrapping your head around $1 trillion is really hard. It's 1,000 billion, but that doesn't really help much. You could buy 2.4 million houses in the US with that kind of money. You could buy every NFL and NBA team and have $500 billion left over. It's about 3% of all the goods and services that the US produces in a year. My colleagues and I have estimated that over the course of his career, Elon Musk has built up wealth at an average of about $1,000 a second. In the time that you've watched this video, that would work out to about this much.
This is wild.
You do not get free healthcare. You do not get free healthcare.
But how do we get to that point?
Every working and retired American should be entitled to health care. Would you sign on or write up a bill for Medicare for all? We've got Medicare now. We can start rolling back the age 5, 10 years at a time. Would you support that?
We can't afford that.
Yes, you can.
But that Republican has no problem sending billions of dollars to Israel. But he also supported Trump's tax cuts for the wealthy, which will cost us over $3.4 trillion over the next 10 years. Whenever it comes to healthcare for working people, suddenly we can't afford it. But we have no problem funneling billions of dollars to another country. For all of the fake patriotism from the right, you would think that implementing universal healthcare would be something they take pride in, because you look at the rest of the world and dozens of countries have done so. Most of our international peers have done so, including Israel. But the blowback to him saying we can't afford it and you do not get free healthcare shows where the majority of Americans are. These people are not stupid. They can recognize that we lag behind the rest of the developed world, and people like Mike Flood, Republican from Nebraska, are standing in the way of progress.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Washington, D.C. It appears, according to new court documents, although we can't see behind that tarp thing, that Donald Trump's name has been fully removed from the outside of the Kennedy Center. But it is important to note, we haven't seen any evidence of that yet, because this white tarp has been covering the facade all morning long. The person I know that's closest to it is MS Now reporter Nnamdi Igwanwu. What do you know?
You know, we're reading through that court order that was just filed moments ago, which essentially is the head of the Kennedy Center asserting that they have complied with the judgment they received and have removed signage referring to this institution as the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center of Performing Arts. They also said they've updated the website to remove references to the Trump Kennedy name and have halted plans to close the facility. You've pointed out, though, that this tarp still remains up, so it's hard for us to see that with our own eyes. But I will point out something that's interesting. If you look into the corners, you can sometimes, we've seen pockets of people gather at the corner trying to peer in behind that tarp. And what we've been told by bystanders is that while you can't see a clear picture, you can kind of make out that there is only a single row of text, whereas when this building was renamed, there was there were two rows with the president's name over the name of the former president, John F. Kennedy. So if that's anything, bystanders here are at least saying that may be enough to suggest that this order was met and that the Kennedy Center did comply, although they are choosing, obviously, to leave this tarp up. Why? We don't know. We've reached out to the administration. We've reached out to the Kennedy Center. We're still waiting to hear back.
The names of women who have come out and said Traitor Trump assaulted them. You know, he just starts kissing. He can't help it.
I don't even know. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Jill Harth, a business associate who said Trump groped her under her skirt, tried to kiss and touch her without consent and attempted to get her alone. She later settled. She filed a lawsuit and settled because he's so innocent. Temple Taggart, former Miss Utah, she said that Trump kissed her on her lips without her consent on multiple occasions related to the pageant. Of course he did. He said on Howard Stern that he would wander into the Miss Teen dressing room.
They're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like,
oh, just checking it out here. Just making sure everything's good. Rachel Crooks, she says that when she was introduced to Trump in Trump Tower, he grabbed and kissed her on the mouth without her consent. It goes on. The pageant dressing room incidents, multiple contestants in Miss USA and Miss Teen USA pageants. I mean, look at who we're dealing with. And now he's in the White House. It's disgusting. It really irritates me. It infuriates me, I should say. To be irritated would be an improvement, because it's offensive that we have allowed our fellow Americans to be this absolutely immoral.
A bit more about the push for a deal between the U.S. and Iran and how close negotiators could be. MS Now's Laura Barone-Lopez is joining us now. We're getting word from the Prime Minister of Pakistan, as you well know, which has been the lead negotiator between the two countries. So what can you tell us?
That's right, Alex. So the Prime Minister just posted moments ago on X saying that amid ongoing intense mediation efforts by Pakistan, they're aware of a lot of the information that is coming out, which both the White House and other negotiators have said is not necessarily accurate. But the key here is that they said, setting aside the noise, we can confirm that a final agreed upon text of the peace deal has been reached, and Pakistan is now working closely with both sides to finalize the next step. Peace has never been as close as it is now. Now, we have asked the White House for a response to this. I've also texted some White House officials, but so far we haven't heard back on whether or not this is accurate.
It's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Oh, it's going to be a lot worse than just impeachment, you motherfucker. We're going to investigate. We're going to get proof of what you've done, you fucking child-raping piece of shit. Vote blue, everybody. Vote blue.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here. I apologize for being so late. Good morning, everybody. It's 11:44 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. We're currently at already 105 degrees here in beautiful Las Vegas. Out here on the outer rim, otherwise known as Boulder Highway. Thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, this would be a day when Hal is tired and wants to go to bed, and he ends this show right on the dot. And of course, I was still downloading the intro. I hope you enjoyed the intro. I can't say celebration, but maybe in recognition of Elon Musk becoming the world's first trillionaire. I wanted to make the intro, focus on that. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll tell you one thing, though, old Elon Musk, he doesn't seem very thankful to the American taxpayer, does he? Because he would not be a trillionaire if not for you and I and all the other American taxpayers. Because that's how he made his money. Government contracts. Even going way back to the early years of Tesla, getting sweetheart deals, contracts, and loans from the government. So, Elon Musk, when you're sitting on your new yacht or flying in your latest, newest big fancy jet, private jet, or in one of your houses around the world, take a moment, Elon, take a moment to thank us, the American taxpayer, because you would not be where you are now without us, you South African illegal immigrant piece of shit. There, I feel better now. Now, I'm not able to scroll back to the very beginning of the chat, and I didn't see who was in here first or second or third. I was busy downloading. I was still busy editing, probably. So I don't know, and I'm not able to scroll to the top. As far as I'm able to scroll back to is where Brooklyn, SJU, Brooklyn, says Mr. Spock, and does one of these to Mr. Spock. We got 88 watching. Thanks for the Raiders. Thanks for you guys for coming over from Hal, and for all you regulars. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. But let me see who we got. We got Wes Webb. Hey, Wes Webb. Why am I doing the Wes Webb? Wes Webb's not from Brooklyn. Wes Webb's from Illinois. Wes Webb's here. DPD's here. Hey, DPD. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Hanging out with us. Aaron West is here. I believe Jolie is either en route or already at Minnesota today to watch her daughter. I don't know if they're both playing, but they do roller derby, and they had a big travel. Well, they're a traveling team going all the way to Minnesota from Indiana. I know it's not too far, but it's a bit of a drive. There, a few hours drive, I suppose. So I think Jolie is in Minnesota. So good luck to her daughter's roller derby team. I hope they kick ass and take names. You know what I mean? But we have Aaron here. Thanks, Aaron. I do appreciate you so much. Susie Ann Jones is here. Apparently getting an MRI and going to use that time to her advantage. Taking a nap. I've had an MRI done. Long time ago, because I blew my knee out, and they wanted to do an MRI to see what the damage was. So I did that. That was like 30-something years ago. I think that's the only MRI I've had. I'm trying to remember when I had pancreatitis about, 11 years ago now. I think they just did x-rays. It seems like you would remember if you did an MRI, because the MRI is that big machine. Yeah, and you have to lay in it and not move. Not move an inch. Don't move an inch. He told me, don't you move an inch. Anyhow, Misty Rose is here. Hi, I'm Misty. I'm new here. Hello, Misty. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. If you came from Hal, thank you for coming over. Either way, however you got here, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper to Mr. Spock. The Fowler. Mr. Spock is a fowler because he tends foul. Wes Webb says, "Hey Spock, we were talking about your chickens and barter. You, my man, are way ahead of your times." Yeah, I'm just wondering, how many chickens would it take to pay for an MRI? How many chickens would it take to just pay for the ambulance ride if you got into an accident and they took you to the ER? I don't know if the barter system could work, but how many chickens would it take for me to buy a new e-bike, for instance? That's a lot. I think a lot of chickens. I don't know. I think it's just easier to either carry around cash or have a nice debit card. I don't know. I think that works better. I'm just saying. I can't carry around a bunch of chickens with me. Or whatever. Or whatever it is you're bartering. You're bartering your chickens? Or you're bartering the eggs? I'm supposed to have a knapsack full of eggs to barter with. I don't know. Paul Burrows says, hey, Paul, good to see you. William is here also as well. Paul Burrows says, surgeon wanted me to schedule an MRI. And when they called, wouldn't because insurance hasn't caught up yet. Yeah, insurance can drag their feet, and don't let them drag their feet. Susie Ann Jones is here. Mr. Spock. I'm just looking down here. Misty Rose. Let's see here. Everyone's saying hello. The Santha E1F is here. Thanks for being here. I don't know if that's supposed to be Elf or E1F, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, I do have a couple of memes. Maybe I should put those up before I forget. Just a little history, not history, but here's the thumbnail for today's show. Now, I generate those using AI. Full disclosure, I use AI, but I like how they come out. I just tell the AI thing, I just say, hey, make me a political cartoon with Elon Musk saying, I want all the money, and caption it. Elon Musk becomes the world's first trillionaire, and that's what it came out. First try came out. I just go perfect. Love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna use it. I love it. There's Elon and sitting on his pile of money. Now, of course, we all know that, as in these intro in the videos, his bulk of his money is tied up. It's all on paper. It's all in stocks, and so it's kind of an imaginary number. If those companies go tits up, I think he could be a poor, destitute billionaire before you know it. I wonder how much liquid he is. What kind of liquid cash? That's what I'm interested in. I want liquidity. I don't want things tied up in paperwork and all that shit. I want liquidity, man. I'm sure he's got several million though liquid. I would think. If I was a trillionaire, I would make sure I always had, I don't know, 500 million that I could cash, like in a bag, not like under my pillowcase or whatever, or stuffed in my, you know what I mean? But liquid. I would, I'd probably always have like 500 mil. And I know Business 101 people are going to go, that's stupid because that needs to be in a high interest bearing accounts or whatever. Yeah, but if you're a trillionaire, you got plenty of money to put into those accounts. I want 500 million. That's my walking around money, man. It's sick, isn't it? It's just so sick, man. Anyhow, Elon Musk, you're not welcome. As one American taxpayer, you are not welcome, because I think you are a deranged human being, and you don't deserve to have the power that you have with that money. You bought the Trump presidency. You spent over what? Well, that 300 million, that 500 million. He spent 300 million, I think, to get Trump elected. So I guess this is the payoff. I guess this is the big payoff now. Let's see, going back to the chat. Susie Ann Jones says, I'm trying, but my body isn't cooperating. I'm anemic again, so much that I'm going to have to do infusions again. My mom suffered from anemia. This is back in the 60s and 70s. And my mom was young, just so you know. In the 60s, she was only in her 20s. So she turned 30 in 1972, just so you know. So she was young in the 60s and 70s. She was diagnosed with anemia because she craved ice. And I remember, I'm a little kid, so my mom is chomping on ice cubes. She always had ice cubes in the freezer. Of course, you have them for your drinks and stuff. But she would just crack open a tray of ice cubes and start munching on ice. So I'm a little kid, so I would munch on the ice too. I wasn't an anemic, but we emulate our parents. And the doctors, I think they just prescribed one a day. Remember those one a day vitamins or whatever they were called, supplements? One a day. I'm not even sure they still make them or not. So they just told her take one a day, and I don't know if they prescribed any other medication, but I remember. I think it was just over the counter, one a day pills. So, and my mom she seemed pretty healthy, healthy woman, but she had anemia. Try maybe get some one a day. No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing. Maybe get some one a day pills or whatever they're called. They probably don't even make them anymore. I don't know. Why am I getting all raspy? I'm getting raspy in my old age. Oh, Trucker John said, "Sorry for being so late." So that's where I'm at. That's where I am in the chat, where I popped in there. West Webb, me too, Susie. Anemic since I was a kid and borderline diabetic. Hey, Misty Rose. L6K. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, L6K. Guys talking in code. You guys got your code talk going. You got your code talk going. West Webb says, no worries, Johnny boy. We're fine. I'm listening to Brooks and Capehart and chatting with friends. I thought you were going to say Brooks and Dunn. I thought you're listening to some Brooks and Dunn. I don't know who the fuck Brooks and Capehart is. Mr. Fox says, Bright Eyes is on tight schedule, TJ. The TJ is the TJ show, then lays an egg. Well, there you go. So maybe Bright Eyes is laying some eggs for you. Susie says, Sugar John, you're not used to how ending on time. Yeah. Misty Rose is type 2 diabetic. West Webb says co-equal. Okay. Co-equal. Thanks for that. That means so much to me. West Webb, so many networks I have rejected. Turks were a huge disappointment, then Midas sold out. That's why you keep coming back to Trucker John, because I'm not a sellout. Yet. By the way, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share, hype. Hit the hype buttons. All that good stuff. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. If you're watching the replay, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And we are trying to get to 5K. Is here. Oh, Prism Studio. I don't care about Prism. Why did I push that one? I don't want Prism Studio. I'm trying to find something else here. No, I keep pushing the wrong button. Yeah, I don't want that. What's this one here? Let's get the 5K highlighted. I'm not going to edit that. It is what it is. Let's get the 5K, because 5K is when we celebrate with Hennessy Day. 5K Hennessy Day. soon as we get to 5K, I will break open a bottle of Hennessy, and I will celebrate on live stream with it. Let's do this. Let's do it. Oh, that disappeared. Where's the one that just stays on? Where is it? Is it this one? Oh, that needs to be updated. We are at 4488, I believe. And we went down. We were at like 4492. I guess a few people said "fuck this guy" and they unsubscribed. So now we're at like 4488. But let's go. Let's get those subs going. It would be a great thing for me, anyhow. Maybe not for you, but it would be great for me. Here's DPD getting all hot and bothered, all caps. That little Nazi ketamine riddle motherfucker will never get my money again. There you go. I'm over Musk. I used to like Musk. I was a fanboy, and I love Teslas. I think they're great cars, and I think Tesla, the Tesla company, deserves the recognition for really getting EVs more in the mainstream. I don't think we would, as far behind as we are in getting off of fossil fuels and transferring over from gas-powered, internal combustion engines and going to some sort of, clean, renewable energy source, like EVs, for instance. As far as behind as we are in that, because I think we are far behind. We're behind where we should be. I don't think we would be where we are without Tesla. So I will give Tesla that much credit. But Elon Musk is, I think, a really terrible person. And you need to look no further than just the way he treats all the women that he's had kids with. Here we have the world's first trillionaire, and these women. I've heard stories that he doesn't pay child support. I mean, what the fuck is that all about? You want to go and have all these kids, but then you don't want to pay for them, and you're a trillionaire. So you don't need to go any further than that, as far as I'm concerned, to know the character of this guy, this person. Steven Sayers says, "Hey, Steve, good to see you." Steven Sayers says, "What is a PAB?" Well, I believe if I've got my I don't know, my acronyms correct, I believe it's a pussy ass bitch, right? Isn't that what PAB is? Pussy ass bitch. Elon Musk, you're a pussy ass bitch. Deb Denny's here. Hey, Deb, good to see you. It says, what good does it do a company to go public? The only benefit I see is to the owner. It's just, yeah, it's for the owner and the stockholder, or the not the stockholders, because they aren't stockholders yet, but for the board members, the top executives, I suppose, the other co-owners, because like in some of the intros, we found out that Musk owns like, was it like 40% of this and 50% of that and whatever. So there are other owners, other investors. So they immediately get that, that bump. There will be stock buybacks following this, for one thing. And then everyone else, it's kind of a risk. It's kind of a, I don't want to say Ponzi scheme, because it's not really a Ponzi scheme, but it's definitely a risk. I mean, this could start out really high, and then as it corrects itself, this initial offering might have been way too high, and then it'll adjust. So there's lots of risk, but I think the top, Elon Musk and the other big the co-owners and co-investors, they stand to come out pretty well on it. That's why companies go public. That's why Mike Zuckerberg, Mark's brother, no, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, that he went public and became a multi-billionaire instantly or whatever. So that's why. But when you do that, there's a lot of risks involved, and that's why. And I think there's a lot more federal involvement or oversight. There should be, anyhow. That's why people like Donald Trump does not go public. He has his company, the Trump company, and then they're like they've always been private. They've never gone public. And some people will say, well, why don't you go public? You could have been a billionaire years ago, but they don't want that entanglement, and because then you have shareholders and you have board executives that could try and take over your company. You could lose your company, with hostile takeovers. Just go watch Succession. I learned all my business from Succession. So go watch Succession on HBO. I don't know. The Koch brothers, the Koch family, they were always private, and they're billionaires, I think, right? The main Koch brothers. They didn't go public because they don't want. There's a lot of entanglements. They could have been even bigger billionaires probably if they had gone public. So Trump wants to be a trillionaire, so he went public. Took it public. Mr. Spock, Elon, give me tax breaks. Yeah, and we can afford tax breaks for the millionaires and billionaires, right? We can afford a stupid, illegal. This is an illegal war in Iran because it's gone past 60 days. It hasn't got congressional approval. We can spend $1 billion a day on that. We've been doing this for 3 months now. We can spend billions of dollars sending weapons to Israel so that they can slaughter people, civilians, all these kind of things. And the biggest one is the tax giveaways to the billionaires that cost us trillions of dollars, the country, trillions of dollars. We can do all that, but as in the intro, the reason I put that clip in there about Ford, I think his name was Ford from Nebraska, saying we can't afford Medicare. Are you kidding me? We can't afford Medicare, but we can afford to give billionaires and now trillionaire here a big tax cut? We can do that all day long, I guess. And we can pay for these stupid wars, but we can't afford Medicare for all. Hell, they're saying we can't even afford Medicare for the people who are on it now. And the Medicare cuts are coming after November. And they're always trying to cut Social Security. They say we can't afford it. All we can afford, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that we can afford to do is give billionaires and now a trillionaire tax cuts. Tax breaks and tax cuts. That's all we can afford to do. and spend money on stupid, unnecessary wars to the tune of $1 billion a day. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Josh Sees is here. Good to see Josh Sees in the old driver's lounge. Theater man. Josh Sees is in the theater. Wes Webb says, yes, Deb Denny. Elon is sharing the risk. Every initial offering decreases in value within the first year. David Windler's here. Musk rules the world. I'm sure he thinks that. I'm sure he thinks that. I'm sure he has an ego that matches the his assessed worth. Wolf Jarglebanes is here. Says, hi, trucker and group. Don't get me started. This joke. And I am doing an AI project, but it does not require a data center. We'll rely on my own resources, not a subscription. Oh, good for you. Hope the project goes well. DPD, Stephen, PAB, Project Approval Board. It's used in the public sector. I don't know. I never heard of that. I thought it was pussy ass bitch. Let's go with pussy ass. Let's go with mine. Let's go with pussy ass bitch. Wasn't that a big song and big thing, like with Nicki Minaj or something? Am I the only one here? The 65-and-a-half-year-old dude? Anywho. Deb Denny. So why do people buy? Because they think it's a good investment, and they think the price is going to keep going up. And even if it does go down, they think it's going to rebound and go up. Just like people buy stocks in IBM and Coca-Cola because they think it's a gamble. Wall Street is just a big casino, basically. People like to gamble, I guess. Oh, John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad in the old driver's lounge. I Peopled yesterday says the tyrant is spending millions of tax dollars on high vanity projects, not helping us at all. Well, like I said, I think Tesla deserves credit for getting us where we are with EVs, and I think getting off of fossil fuels is important. Starlink, people could say that that's a really good thing. The people are getting access to the internet in really remote places, hard places to get that. I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't want to defend the guy, but you're forcing me to. I don't like the guy. Believe me, I don't like him. Susie Ann Jones says, Mr. Rose, I'm getting ready to send them to the vet. Okay, that's about. I'm mid-thread on that. Sending animals to the vet. I hope they do well. Hope your animals do well. DPD, what fucking piece? I think that's on the intro, that little clip I put, that supposedly there's a peace deal imminent. Yeah, how many times have we heard that in the past 90 days or whatever? You know? How many times have we heard that? Susie Jones, she's my spirit woman. I think you're referring to at the very end of the intro there, the lady who was saying, like, fuck you, Donald Trump, you piece of shit. Yeah, she's my animal woman too. or spirit woman. She might be an animal woman. West Webb says threats don't work. The old lady has no power to deliver them. Who looks more foolish? Well, that old lady by herself, of course, doesn't, but collectively we do. That's why she was urging everyone to vote and to vote blue. All right, Wes, and you know this. You know this. By herself, of course. By myself, I can't do anything. By yourself. But together, if we all come together, we can do. We can come together. We can vote blue. And at least for now, stop the bleeding in November, and then in January when the new Congress would take place, we can at least try to stop the bleeding. And then from there out, then concentrate on 2028. I don't know what else to do, I don't know what else to do. Wolf Jarglebane 5771 says, "Hi trucker, sorry it's been a bit. It is crazy here." Wolf Jarglebane, I don't even remember your name. I don't. You're not. So thanks for coming back. I'm glad you're back. It's been so long that I forgot your name there and everything. I hope it's been crazy in a good way, because there's crazy bad and there's crazy good. So I hope whatever crazy times you're going through, I hope it's like in a good way. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Or do you know what I mean? Aaron West says 95 with humidity in North Carolina. So this must have been when I just came on and I was talking about temperatures. Susie Ann Jones, 80 and windy. I think Susie Ann Jones might be in Florida, but I'm not sure. Brooklyn says, send Elon a Hennessy for reaching 1 trillion. I'm not sending him shit. Steven Sayre says, so that means Musk could completely pay for health care for all and not even miss the money. Well, again, it's what's his liquidity? How much is tied up in stocks and bonds or whatever? And, Rhett, PS7JO was here. I don't know. Probably, I don't know if it's still here or not, but it says something about veterans against pedophiles with bone spurs, simplify. Yeah. Aren't we all? I hope all of us are against that. Steven says or solve homelessness. There's a lot that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and all these billionaires, there's a lot that they could do. But, they don't really give a fuck. Wolf Jargerbang says, ID me. I guess I don't know what that is. Some site or something was tampered with by Doge wannabe hackers. Susie Ann Jones, I'm sending him raspberries. Steven Sears says, thanks for saying that, John. I don't know what I said because this is probably a half an hour ago or longer, 45 minutes ago. And I don't know what I said, but you're welcome. You're very welcome. Keith Newton is here. Hello, Keith Newton. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. I don't know, promoting something of his, I guess. I don't know. Johnny Katz. Hey, Johnny Katz. Thanks for popping in. Now, I said I was talking about Musk, and I called him a. Maybe that's what Steven Sayers was thanking me for. I called him a. What do I call him? Piece of shit, illegal a South African illegal immigrant piece of shit. Maybe that's what you guys are talking about. Yeah. I got some raspiness going on in my voice, my throat. Wolf Jargerbane, Wolf here. Steven Sayers, I'm sending Elon ill will. West Webb going to the Mall of America. I guess that's talking about Jolie. Yeah, Jolie's I believe in Minnesota. She went there for her daughter's roller derby. Okay, the Mall of America is just like a perk, I guess. I don't know. Steven Sayers still wearing my TJL cap. I'm so glad you got that. I've never, I don't really promote the merch that much because it's. I keep saying I'm going to redo it. I want to redo it. I want to find American-made products and all that kind of stuff. But it is on there, and apparently Steve Sayers is wearing the hat. I have not. I mean, I'm not complaining, or what. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I've not seen one dime from that cap because so I don't know. I don't know how that. I don't know. I mean, you have a merch thing, right? You sell merch, and you're supposed to get a percentage of that merch. And it doesn't even say when I look at on that merch company account that I have, it doesn't even show any sales at all. Like I have 0 sales. But I'm glad you got the cap. I was going to order one for myself just to try it out, but like I said, I really want to change. I want to change the whole thing. So I want to try to get just USA made stuff, and I haven't done that. Thank you, Aaron West. We still have the GoFundMe. It's sold out at $350 to get a car. Thank you so much for that. There's the link there. GoFundMe. I appreciate that. For my car fund. And I don't know if David Weiss from Denver is here. I may or may not have a car lined up through him, but I don't know for sure. Not 100% sure. I know Dave was saying he was kind of said, hey, we'll talk about that later after you get all your storage unit stuff taken care of. Hopefully next Friday, this coming Friday, my daughter and son-in-law are going to go clean that storage unit out and get a truck and drive it all the way here to Vegas. And we're going to stuff everything in to this little studio apartment. That should be fun. I don't think there's enough room. But we'll just stuff everything in here and we'll see how it goes. Aaron West says she gets MRIs every year. Yeah, I don't think I got one since about 1991, I think. That's when I tore my knee up. I tore the meniscus, double bucket tear, huge tear. It wasn't just because I know people go, I had meniscus and it was no big deal. I tore my meniscus. Mine was a big deal. I could not even walk. I could not walk. Anyhow, I think I was like 91. Deb Denny, I hear MRIs are noisy. Yeah, but you get in there. I guess it is. It is kind of loud, but you can. I think they let you. Did they let you wear earbuds or something? I don't even know. Back in 1991, there were no really earbuds, But I think I just laid there and I tried to get myself into just a restful state because I knew, they really emphasized not moving, otherwise it wouldn't work and they'd have to start all over. And I think the thing took like what, a half an hour or 45 minutes. It's kind of a long thing, and you cannot move. So if you have an itch, you cannot itch it. You cannot scratch it. You cannot move. You can barely even breathe. So I'm kind of good, I think, at getting myself into a state of just, like I don't think I fell asleep, but just a state of just not moving, because I had to do that when I had spinal meningitis when I was a teenager in high school. In my senior year, I got spinal meningitis, and I was in so much pain from the pounding headache that would reverberate all from my head all the way down to my toes every time I would breathe or move. Not breathe maybe, but just move at all. Any movement would trigger this pain, this pounding pain. So I learned that, well, the only way I could really, even with medications and stuff like that, or painkillers, the only way I really got any relief was if I would sleep. So I just wanted to sleep. And the only way I could sleep is to get the pain to stop. And the only way I could get the pain to stop was to become completely still and just not move no matter what, for as long as it took for me to fall asleep. And usually once I got completely still and didn't move for, however many minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, the pain would stop and I would just lay there and close my eyes, and then I would finally fall asleep. And then I would sleep for however many, maybe a few hours or something, maybe an hour. But something in my sleep, if I moved, it would start that pounding, like sledgehammer. It was like a sledgehammer being pounded on my head type of pain. And then I would have to do the process all over again in order to not feel that pain. I'd have to get completely still and just let that sledgehammer pounding continue until I just finally would drift off to sleep. It was just weird. So I think that experience kind of trained me for my MRI, where I just went in there and got completely still, and I just sort of, like I said, I don't know if I actually fell asleep. I may have fallen asleep eventually, but I just got myself into this state of just not moving an inch, not moving any part of, not moving a toe, not moving a pinky finger, not even blinking, just. So I think that prepared me for it, and that was like 15 years later or whatever it was. West Web, they told me an MRI would only take 45 minutes. It took an hour and a half. I was begging to get out of by the end. Well, you need to learn how to do what I did, which is just lay there very, very still. Take your mind to another place. Astral project. Do some imaging, Like what they're doing imaging on you, you do your own imaging, in your mind. Go to your happy place. Whatever, I don't know. Suzanne Yepers, I'm claustrophobic. Good times. Just close your eyes, Susie. Just lay there as stiff as a board. Don't move. Just close your eyes and just think of what's the happiest place you want to be. For me, I think I always choose like Yosemite, because I always loved going to Yosemite as a kid, especially. So for me, I always picture just being in Yosemite, floating on a raft on the Merced River. I think it's the Merced River that goes through there, and just floating on the raft, going down. It's a nice, gentle current. It's not like the rapids, and you're just there, and it's beautiful. And you're looking up, and you see Half Dome, or you see El Capitan, and you see the forest, and you're just floating down this river on a raft, and that takes me to my happy place. You know, you got to do these things. Steven Sayers says my first MRI was kind of scary, mostly noisy. Yeah, Aaron West, I keep my eyes closed in the MRI. Yeah, just keep your eyes closed and just think of whatever it is that makes you happy, I guess. But you can still stay still. You got to stay still. Mr. Block, 200 meat birds. Is that the price of the ER ride to the hospital? Maybe. I don't know. Stephen Sayers fell asleep in my last MRI. Suzanne Jones says the advantage of having it today or disadvantage depending on the results. I get to read them on my chart before the doctor sees them. Last time it was on my chart for 1 hour. Hey, Big Hook, the Big Canuck is here. Hey, Big Hook, good to see you. Big Hook says they say it's cheaper to go to an MRI clinic and pay the cash price rather than use your insurance. I don't know. Back in 1991, I had Kaiser insurance, and Kaiser did it. I went to Kaiser Hospital in Panorama City, California. Mr. Spock, I trade a meat bird for getting my taxes done. Cost $30 to get taxes done. Okay, so that there's that. Wes Webb, my dad was a preacher. Farmers were always giving us food. Blah, blah, blah. Did you pay your rent with those chickens and stuff and the food? I mean, we can't go to a barter system. You can do some bartering here and there, okay? We cannot change our financial system to a barter system, which is what some people say. I'm not saying that's what you guys are saying, but there are some people. Remember the lady who was in Nevada? This is way before I lived here. But she was running for Senate, I think, against Harry Reid, I believe, or I don't know. And she was all into bartering. She was like for everything. Like we should just do away with money and just barter for everything. That was she got her ass kicked. She didn't, Remember, she's the one that fled the interview. And that's when people were saying, well, how many chickens would it cost for me to get my cancer treatment paid for? Anyhow, Stephen Sayers says one person doesn't need $1 trillion. Brooklyn says he's so liquid he's oozing. Wes Webb says, John, get real. Elon keeps no cash and he borrows billions. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, if it was me, I threw out the number 500 million. I don't know, but yeah, I would have a few million. I would always have some liquidity in the millions of dollars. I would think. Wolf Jogglebane says Scrooge McDuck is actually not so ignorant. He knows money must circulate. The factor, the net does not figure because hoarding it means it's worthless, but use it for say helping those in need. Priceless. Yeah, I think that they should help some people. I think Bezos and Musk and Zuckerberg should do more to help people with their money. Steven Sayers says, was that big blow up of Musk in New York? I think it was, but I'm not sure. Brooklyn says, I think $5,000 for an MRI. John Glad says, I bet if the retired cashed out 25% of their portfolio, the system would collapse overnight. Hey, Whack P, otherwise known as P Dubs, I believe. is in the house. He does probably not going to do a show this Sunday. Oh, my mom passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that, P Dubs. My condolences to you. Very sorry to hear that. Yeah. Big Hook says Elon's the world's biggest welfare queen. The U.S. government gave him over 39 billion in loans, and I did touch on that earlier. Just so you know, if you weren't here, I did touch on the fact that Elon Musk really owes a debt of gratitude, if nothing else, to the American taxpayer, because he would not be where he is today without us. And he should give a little of that back, maybe. If he had any sort of was it altruism or any type of I don't know, any type of charity in his heart, then he would give some of that back through and help charitable programs like for homeless and for needy people and people who need food and shelter. And I don't know of any of Elon Musk doing that. Maybe he does. Maybe someone could Google if Musk has contributed any money to organizations that help people with homelessness and food insecurity and all that kind of stuff. Deb Denny, government cheese was good. My recollection of government cheese, because I had we were never on in those days they just called it welfare. Back when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, my dad made very good money, so we fortunately didn't have to do that. But I have an aunt and my cousins. They did get food stamp. They didn't call it SNAP, then they just called it food stamps, I think. And so I guess that's the government cheese. But I think it was like I always thought it was just like Velveeta, which is a craft company, but maybe it wasn't. But I remember they would get blocks of cheese, and it wasn't like good, like sharp cheddar or whatever. It was like that kind of like Velveeta type of stuff, which is I ate my share of Velveeta because we would buy Velveeta too, and Velveeta is good for I think grilled cheeses and stuff like that. But if you want to have like cheese on your sandwich, I don't like Velveeta. But like I say, it's good for like a grilled cheese sandwich, or I suppose for the cooks out there who make, I don't know, cheesy type casserole dishes, maybe Velveeta would be good. And I remember we used to have a little cheese slicer to slice off the cheese for the Velveeta. But I think that I thought that's what my aunt was getting with the food stamps, and so I always thought that was the government cheese, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there was something else that was actually just marked government cheese. I don't know, or USDA or something. I don't know. Suzanne Jones, it's called pica, and I eat crunchy ice all day. Yeah, that's what my mom used to do. Love to eat that those ice cubes. And she took the one a day supplements. So anyhow, let's see. I got some other memes we could share. Which one is this one here? It's really frustrating. I always get frustrated at this. Then it zooms me in. I'm trying to zoom this in, and then it zooms that in. But I just thought it was funny. I just thought this was funny. It doesn't really. We're not really talking about Pride Month. Was that last month? So but I just saw this meme pop up. I just thought it was funny. Every time someone complains about Pride Month, God sucks a dick. I think that's hilarious to me. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. So take that. Take that, all you Pride Month haters. Just know that every time you complain about it, God sucks a dick. I just lost a viewer. I just saw the amount of people watching. It went down. Anyhow. But thanks for everyone. We're down to 70 watching, 57 thumbs ups. We are acting a little skeezy. We're acting a little skeezy. Like skeezy Republicans. Please don't do that. Because we only have 57 thumbs ups. We're operating at a thumb deficit. A thumbs up deficit. So if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And like, subscribe, hype, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. All right. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. That would be great. I just want to say I'm highly offended by this meme that you have up. I'm highly offended. I wish you would take it down immediately, or else I will be leaving the show. I cannot stand for this blasphemy. All right, I may be a cookie, but I'm a God-fearing cookie. So please, for the love of God, take that meme down, Trucker John. It's just not right. It is kind of funny though. Tough Cookie. Well, okay, I'll take it down for Tough Cookie. I'll take it down for Tough Cookie. Because we have other memes. Now we know that Donald Trump's birthday is coming up, right? He's got the UFC match. He's got the thing going out there, ready to go, man. In front of the south lawn of the White House. I hope it rains. It's supposed to rain. I hope it rains like it's never rained before. Because even though they kind of have a cover, it doesn't cover the sides. And if it rains, it'll get on everybody. All those people that are paying $1 million for a ticket, I hope they get rained on like crazy. And also, a little happy birthday to Trump. For this here. This is so frustrating. This is so god darn frustrating. Okay. Prism app, people, you need to fix this problem. Okay. Now I don't know if this could be an old picture, because as you saw in the clip, they have a tarp covering it, so people can't see if his name has been taken off or not. But anyhow, happy birthday, Donald Trump. Yeah, your little vanity projects, your little thing where you want to put your name on everything. Well, at least that's not happening. So fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you very much, and happy birthday. Big 11:58. I'm almost an hour behind, guys. I'm almost an hour behind. I know that's tough, like maybe to listen to me talking about stuff that you guys said almost an hour ago. So maybe I need to skip on down. Paul Burrows says, "Fuck it, I'm out." 45 minutes ago. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what you're so upset about, but you know. All right, but I hope you're on the well on the way to recovery. Paul Burrows just had a huge heart attack, so hopefully Paul doing well, and we wish you the best. I still don't know why you're saying "fuck it," though. Like you're mad about something. DPD has a bone to pick with me and BB. Yesterday I was trying to get my Grubhub on, and BB was playing the clips of Tim Baldhead Simpool, and today you introduce us to Musk. Don't spoil my grub. Well, it is what it is. We can't ignore what's going on. Maybe just don't look at the screen during that time and just listen to the audio or something. I don't know. Don't mean to upset the grub times when you're grubbing down. West Webb, should it be against the law to be a trillionaire? I don't know about against the law, but I think we should tax them out of existence. And same way with multi-billionaires or billionaires, we can tax them out of existence. Hey, there's David Weiss from Denver. Hey, David, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. I do appreciate you for being here. Big Hook, an MRI would confirm RFK is a psychopath. I don't know what the good stand-up joke was from Mr. Spock. John Glad says electric cars shift the fossil fuel from petroleum to coal and natural gas. But as we are getting more and more of our electric grid being powered by renewables, it won't be. Coal is on its way out. Coal is down. The amount of coal we use has been going down. Natural gas, we've been using a lot of that, but so we are transitioning to more and more renewables, even in our power grid. And the thing that people seem to always forget is that EVs have no tailpipe emissions, which makes up for almost 50% of the CO2 that's being put back in the atmosphere is from tailpipe emissions. So just that alone is a huge deal. And I always have to remind people of that when they want to say that we're just switching, instead of gas and oil, we're going to coal and stuff because of what it takes to power our power generating plants. But like I said, we're getting more and more off of coal and more into green renewables and tailpipe emissions. Just the savings in tailpipe emissions alone is worth switching from fossil fuel to EV. Just that alone, let alone the renewable energies that are going into generating power on a mass level. Wolfgang, I'm just going to read part of this because the other part I don't know if I understand it. I don't know what the first part of your post has to do with the second part. It says, not to mention battery pack is a bomb under the seats. They used to say that about gas powered cars with 12 and 15 and 20 gallon tanks of fuel sitting under them. So I know there are, whenever a Tesla catches on fire, it makes all the news. I've seen regular gas powered cars catch fire. I helped put one out one time as a truck driver. I was driving up here in Nevada on I-15, just out of Mesquite. There's a big kind of grade. I don't know, but yeah, there was a car on the side of the road. It was like a little Honda Civic or something, and you could see, like the guy tried to pop the hood, and you could see under the hood these flames coming out of it. I pulled over my truck. I grabbed my fire extinguisher. I ran out, and I put that fire out for that guy. And I've seen other gas-powered cars, for whatever reason, catch on fire. You know, I've seen, so as far as trying to, I don't know, perpetuate this sort of scare tactic about EVs being more dangerous than gas-powered ICE engines, I don't buy it, and there's probably statistics that we can look up, but I don't think that an EV is any more dangerous as far as blowing up than a gas-powered car. And I've seen, even going way back to when I was a kid, in high school, I had a friend whose car caught on fire. It was something electrical, and it caused the engine to catch on fire, and that was on the way to school. We had to pull them out, get them out of their car. I remember driving behind them, and like all of a sudden they pulled over and their car's on fire. So I had to help get them out of the car. So, you know, I'm not going to perpetuate these scare tactics against EVs. They're no more dangerous than an ICE-powered car, and I bet you they're even safer. Deb Denny says someone else would have come along and supported Tesla, or another company would have developed. When Tesla was coming up, now, we don't know. I guess we'll never know. You know, like how much longer would it have taken to get where we are now? Because the fossil fuel industry, I think, I don't know if it was collusion or whatever, but going along with the major automotive industry, were dead set against development of EV cars, going back into, well, probably forever, but you know, they've killed these EV programs. And I remember reading an article way back in the like 20 years ago, probably, I don't know, I'm not sure, in the aughts probably, where Elon Musk was still, he had come on board with Tesla and was now like the leader of Tesla or whatever, right? He bought his way in, and that's when things started changing for Tesla. And his goal was to make these roadsters, these Tesla roadsters that were going to be expensive. And he knew they were going to be expensive because they were practically made by hand, handmade, one car at a time. It's new. It was new technology. You know, like Hal always says, technology is deflationary, like as it goes on. But anyhow, they're making these Tesla roadsters and selling them for like, what were they selling for? Like 200 grand. So that is a very small, select part of the market that can afford that kind of a car, that price. But he knew that, okay, we're gonna make these cars, and from that money, we're gonna go to the next one, which will be like a more of a sedan, a traditional type sedan, and that's going to be the Model S. This is when I used to like Musk. This is when I thought he was cool, and I had no problem with him. I have no problem with what was going on. And then, so they sold a bunch of Roadsters. They were able to get money from that, revenue from that. Maybe that's where they got some loans or government loans. I don't know. I don't remember exactly the timeline on that. But then they were able to go in and start producing the Model S. So you went from a Roadster, which I think was 150 or 180 grand, maybe more with some other upgrades or whatever. And then they were able to do the Model S, which went from that price almost half down, like where they had were different battery sizes. It was like, I think it was like 80,000, 90,000, and 100,000 or something like that. Again, and this is back when the average price of cars was still probably like $30,000 or something, $25,000 or $30,000. This is back in early 2000s, right? And I think we're still in the aughts at this point. I don't think we're in the teens yet. I don't know, but anyhow, this is roughly off the top of my head here. So the point is, they were able to get these cars and different price points from that. Then the Model 3, which was like a $40,000, $45,000 car, where it had a base price, starting price, I think, of around like 35 or 40, and then you could get different battery packs and different setups where it was 40 and 50,000. Then they had the Model Y, which was like an SUV, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is, I remember way back in the road when they were just making the Roadsters. That's the little 2-seater sports car, for those of you that don't know. I was reading an article. The CEOs of GM and Ford and Chrysler or whatever, they were saying they had no interest whatsoever in developing an EV, none whatsoever. And at that point, EVs weren't even at like 1% of the amount of cars that were on the road or being sold. They had like a 1% market share, probably, or and they had no interest whatsoever. I read that. I wish I had the article. They had no interest whatsoever in developing EVs, and they said everything disparaging that they could say about EVs, about Elon Musk, about Tusk. It was all, to them, it was all nonsense. It was complete nonsense, and it was a waste of money for them to develop EVs. They had no interest whatsoever in developing EVs for their products, for their product lines. None. They poo-pooed it. They killed it. They talked it down. They everything. Okay, fast forward another like 10 years when Elon's got the Model S, he's got the Model 3, he's got the Model Y. The Model 3 and the Model Y are the top selling cars, maybe 15 years later, or whatever it was. Top selling cars in the world. In the fucking world. Model Y and Model 3 were like, Model Y was like number 1 and Model 3 was like number 3 in the world of not just EVs, but of all cars. And then finally, these fucking CEOs of the auto manufacturers finally said, yeah, okay, we're going to start making some EVs. And now every single auto manufacturer has a line of EVs. Every single one. And 20 years ago, they were saying, no, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. It's never going to happen. It's a waste of our money. It's a waste of our time. We're not putting any R&D into any of this shit. And now every single manufacturer from everywhere, from Japan, Germany, England, the United States, every manufacturer has a line of EVs. And that would not have happened without Tesla. And you can say, yeah, maybe without Elon Musk, it would have eventually happened. Well, how much longer would we be? Maybe we just now would be at the Roadster stage. As I'm sitting here in the having temperatures that are 10 degrees above normal, we don't have that kind of time, folks. We don't have that kind of time. So I will always give Elon Musk and Tesla credit for spurring on the EV movement and getting it to where it is today. and we can. And I don't like Elon Musk. I think he's an asshole. I think he's a horrible person, and I think the money probably had something to do with that. I think money changes you, but I think he did a great. I think by taking over Tesla, and I think he had a great business model. I might lose everyone. I can see the numbers going down right now. People watching, but I don't give a fuck. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And it's not a story; it's the truth. It's the truth. All right, I had another meme. I think what was this meme here? Speaking of Musk, and chickens. I don't know. And I hope you're not. I hope no one's eating dinner. I hope no one's having their grub. I thought this was fun, like a funny little thing. It's Musk. I don't think it. I don't think it copied the whole cartoon. I don't know. I thought maybe I copied the wrong one. I thought there was a cartoon that I copied where he was. Yeah, it showed like all his money behind him, and there were people, like poor people and homeless people on one side, and it had sort of a caption like, what the needy people, need help, and then Musk was saying like, there's not enough money for that, and then behind him was a bunch of money. I don't know. I must have copied the wrong thing. Anyhow, there's Musk. I know I'm an hour behind in the chat, so I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip down. Wolf Druggle says that he stole ideas by outranking the actual inventors and CEOs. I don't know about that. I thought he had a pretty good business plan, and I'm going to give him credit until I'm proven wrong. I'm going to give Elon Musk credit for getting us to where we are today with EV production. I think the original owners of Tesla, the founders of Tesla, I don't think they had the pull or the name recognition or whatever. Even though Elon Musk wasn't really all that known then, but he had made waves with PayPal, and all that. I feel like this thing's falling. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's probably, if it wasn't, it probably will now that I'm messing with it. But I just feel like Elon Musk was the spark or the whatever to get Tesla going to that next level, because before that they had just made some prototypes and really hadn't done anything, and then Musk got in there and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make these roadsters. We're going to sell a bunch of those for 150 or grand or whatever it was. And then from there, then we can start making other models that are going to be more, that are going to be, less and less. He got it all the way down to the Model 3, which, was like 40 grand. And it changed the whole thinking of these other established auto manufacturers. And I'm not gonna waver from that. As much as I think Elon Musk is a piece of shit, I'm not gonna. Why would I? I'm not gonna fucking change. I'm not gonna rewrite history just to satisfy myself or whatever. West Webb. Money is imaginary. Well, you know what? We use money. Okay, try paying for your mortgage. Try paying for your groceries. Try paying for your gas. If you think it's just imaginary, I mean, that's some good imagination. It's paying for all those things. Deb Dunny, if Congress would pay back the money they stole out of Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security accounts, and tax the wealthy appropriately, they wouldn't. Yeah, absolutely. Just we have plenty of money to pay for it. They just don't want to. Yeah, they want to give it to themselves and to the rich and to the rich cronies, and they just see a big tranche of money and they just want it. That's kind of like the meme, the thumbnail of the show of Musk. I want all the money, because there is no amount of money that will ever satisfy these people. They're like addicted to money, just like a heroin addict or anything else. And the only way really to cure a heroin addict is to take away the heroin. I feel like this thing is falling, guys. I should probably break down and just buy a regular tripod. I'm using a ring light. You guys have seen those ring lights, right? And it's a really nice tripod, and it's a nice stand and everything, but it's just, I think it's gotten worn out, and some of the tightening clamps have kind of broken. And anyhow, where was I? I'm not sure where I was. I'm going to skip down a little bit. I am like an hour behind. I do see Izolda's in with a member for 22 months. Thank you so much, Izolda's in. Yippee! I do appreciate you. 22 months. Thank you, Izolda. And Izolda says, I hope people finally wake up from being squeezed. And not in a good way, I guess. See, now I feel like this is just pointing down, like it needs to point down. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. There. But hopefully it doesn't all of a sudden go. Sometimes it does that. Oh, DBD, you're referring to WAP by Minaj. Oh, okay. That's something different. Well, isn't there a pussy ass bitch that everyone should know that means pussy ass bitch? West Webb, $2.22. Thank you. I'm just now getting to it. Sorry for the delay and getting you your yippee. But yippee going out to West Webb. I do appreciate you. And I swear to God, this thing is moving. And it's pissing me off. Anyhow. Thank you, West Webb. There's a thumbs up and a heart for you. West Webb forcing you to admit that you might be wrong. Just might be wrong. I don't know what that's about. Wolfjar Urbane says Starlink is a joke, 200 plus, then monthly added, and he has used it against Ukraine. Trump has a concept of a peace plan. Well, I didn't know it was 200 a month, 200 plus. And that's the only, they said that's like the only profitable part of the SpaceX business is the Starlink part of it. Yeah, and using it against Ukraine, yeah, he's a dirtbag. He's a piece of shit. I'm not. Don't think that I think that Elon Musk is a good person. I think he's a piece of shit, but I do still think that he deserves credit where credit is due. With the whole Tesla thing, and getting us, and moving us in the right direction as far as our automobiles are concerned. I'm just skipping down, guys, because I'm really behind, and so I'm gonna kind of needle drop in on a post, What ass pussy? Well, PAB is pussy ass bitch. I thought everyone knew that that was pussy ass bitch. And I didn't want to put pussy ass bitch because I didn't know if, YouTube was going to say something. And again, I know this thing is moving. I'm just looking. I'm just trying to see if I can see it moving. It's funny. It's one of those things where, like, if you turn away and don't look, and then you look back, you can tell it's moved. But if I just look at it, I can't see it move. But I know it's moving, and it is jiggling. It's moving and jiggling. Yeah, this whole damn thing is gonna just fall. Anyhow, I should get a more proper. See, but I don't like it when my head is so low in the shot. It needs to be in the upper third, and then when I get it where I want it, it seems like it's gonna fall. Anyhow, hopefully it won't fall. Hopefully it won't just droop. It'll all of a sudden it just droops. Let's see. So I'm just needle dropping. Big Hook says a perfect candidate doesn't exist, and I think misogyny played a big role in both losses. Hillary won the popular vote, so if not for electoral college nonsense, we could have had a woman president. Yeah, absolutely. And not only a woman president, but a very, I think, well-qualified person. And it does look like my hat is translucent. I don't know why. My hat, this is a black hat. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be a green screen. It's not a black screen. So why the fuck is my hat translucent? Prism? You're stupid. Okay, so here's the chroma key. I can try to fix it, I think. Oh. I don't think that works. Here's this one here. What's this one do? Oh, shit. Yeah, it's just, you have to slide it. It's like a sliding thing. And is that better? I don't know. It seems like, is the hat still translucent? All right, so yeah, I'm skipping down, and I'm just needle dropping. Johnny Cat says there's other ways that they can bring internet to those rural areas. Okay. Wes Webb says Kamala ignored inflation and the war in Gaza. Said she wouldn't do anything differently. It made her look stupid. And I think, and I've said this before, I think the way she answered questions about Gaza, I think that was huge. That was a huge thing that really killed her campaign. She should have answered that better. She should have just said, "Yeah, I'm against giving weapons to Israel right now because they're killing way too many innocent civilians. They're not doing this right, and we should not be a part of that." Hey, Luck Dragon's here. Good to see Luck Dragon. I haven't seen Luck Dragon in a while. Thanks for popping on in. Luck Dragon says, I've been here since the start. I just was cleaning the kitchen. Trucker's opening video was awesome, like always. Nutsy. I think it's nice to see you. But, yeah. Wolfjar Gerbane says Doge forced a reset and have control of tax accounts. Sorry, it is me trying to inform, but I am multitasking. Doge, we can thank Doge for a lot of things. Bad things, like the screw worm. The screw worm. Thank you, Doge. We got this screw worm screw fly, whatever the fuck it is. And coincidentally, Doge cut back on a lot of these agencies that we have that do things like screen livestock or check out populations of certain flies, like the screwworm. Why is that so hard to say? Screwworm fly, or whatever the fuck it's called. They cut cut back so much on that they didn't have the staffing, they didn't have the money to conduct all the normal testing that they do, and the I guess setting traps and observing and all that other shit that Elon Musk took with his fucking chainsaw, and just thought he was so cool with his chainsaw, and he's like, I'm just slashing things. Yeah, this is all this government government overspending and all that, you know. Yeah, fuck you, Musk. Musk is a dick. I don't like him. I like his EVs though, and I like. I'm not going to back off on what I said earlier. Okay, I'm skipping down. Big Hook says, Wes, inflation has felt more in red states where they refused to raise the minimum wage. Inflation was from COVID extenuating circumstances, but Biden did significant things to fix. Biden did a hell of a job. Joe Biden did a hell of a great job. There were countries like, I don't know, Greece and Italy, they were having like 25 and 30% fucking inflation. I guess the highest we got was what, 9.8 or something like that? And then within a couple of years, by the time he left office, weren't we down to like under 4%? 3.5% or something? I'm not going to waver from that either. Yeah, Joe Biden made mistakes, and maybe he shouldn't have tried to run again and all that kind of stuff, but his administration did a hell of a great job in getting us out of COVID and getting us out of the recession caused by it. You're not going to change my mind on that either. Danny Pomeroy says, I don't hear people complaining about the cost of their health care plan of choice going up. All I heard is it's 4 or 5% going up. Is that true? What is happening? People will find out soon. You're not going to find out until after the midterms, I think. I think that's when they put that to go into place. They did that on purpose so that they could get through the midterms, and then if they lose like they think they're going to lose, then when the prices go up for healthcare, they can blame the Democrats because they think people are too stupid to figure out that, you know, who really did it. And a lot of them are too stupid, quite frankly. I don't like to call people stupid because I know I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but there are people stupider than me. Lots of them. Misty Rose, how's everyone today? Oh, pretty good. Weren't you here earlier, Misty Rose? How are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for sticking it out with us. As I don't know, I'm really behind in the chat, but that's the way it goes. If I'm going to read the chats, it's going to make, it's a time thing. Christine 16 is here. What about the tech telling you not to move? That makes your nose itch. Yeah, I know, right? I know. As soon as they say that, then you get an itch on your nose, you got an itch on your head, you got an itch on your knee or whatever, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. All right, skipping down to needle dropping. Christine 16 says, I did radiation 5 days a week for 3 months, 20-minute treatments, and I couldn't move. Let's see here. I'm trying to scroll this down. Wow, this chat on here is down there. Anyhow, I do see DPD with a $20 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much. And there was another one I missed, and I'll scroll down to them and I'll acknowledge it again. But let me see. I saw another one pop in. See, there's two different chats, the screens that I have. One on my phone and one on my iPad. And shoot, now I can't see it. I know someone else had one. Thank you so much. Oh, there it is. Izolda Zinn, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Izolda. Yippee! Going out to you. It says Musk should be in jail for inappropriately invading the Treasury. I think so. I look. I'm not saying that he's a good person. I don't like the guy. I used to like him. I don't like him anymore. And I agree. I think he should be definitely on charges of all kinds of shit. Yeah, illegally taking our information. This is probably just one of many. Okay, I'm skipping down a little bit here. Needle dropping, and just it's like a needle drop means I'm just like, it's like the old records, and you had a needle, and you would just needle drop, and then it would just play wherever the needle landed. That's what I'm doing here on the chat. But Santha says yes for what you said, West Webb, and she ignored to say she has ideas to fix this or that. It looked for me, she hardly knows what to do exactly, like her achievements are really nothing to say to. I don't know if we're talking about Kamala Harris, maybe. I guess that was a Kamala Harris thing. Yeah, mistakes were made in her campaign. We're not perfect. There's always these people, like Bill Clinton was supposed to be a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, I guess he was a Rhodes Scholar, right? And Obama went to, what did he go to? Like Harvard or whatever. You have all these well-educated people, way more educated than me, way smarter than me, and yet they always find a way to say something stupid. Every single one of them. I'm not just picking on. I don't mean to just pick on Obama and Clinton, but the Republicans, of course, they say stupid shit all the time. And like Ted Cruz, he's a fucking Harvard grad, isn't he, or whatever? All these fucking supposedly smart people, and they say some of the stupidest shit. And whenever they do, I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, that's what your Harvard fucking education got you? Was that stupid thing that just came out of your mouth just now? I mean, when I say something stupid, it's kind of understandable because I have an AA degree. That's the only degree. That's the highest degree I have. I did go to 4-year college, but I didn't graduate. I didn't get a degree there. So if I say something stupid, it's probably understandable. But when these Harvard grads and Yale grads and these big fancy Ivy League school grads and Rhodes Scholars, when they say something stupid, it just makes you wonder, like, what the fuck is college even good for, I thought it was supposed to polish you. I thought it was supposed to polish you and make you not say stupid shit and do stupid things. Okay, skipping down and needle dropping. West Webb, we got our house from church for free, John. Well, looky there. So you could probably just barter because you don't have to worry about your mortgage. Nice church and tax-free status, I suppose. I suppose your dad is nothing against your dad. I don't want to, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, if you're the church is in tax-free status, not necessarily the individual, I guess. I'm leaving that subject. I do not want to say bad things about anyone. skipping down, needle dropping. Luck Dragon says, Aaron West, I think you're lurking right now, but I am going to say hello to you anyway. And then emojis with trophies and mod. And it says mod. I'm going to skip down, needle drop, because I know I'm really far behind. Azola says Pride Month is this month. Okay, thank you. I should know that since I posted a meme on it. Okay, I'm skipping down, needle dropping. Misty Rose says, why would you wish Trump a happy birthday if you hate him? Because it was a joke, Misty Rose. It was a joke because the picture had his name was removed. His name was oh, that's the wrong one. Happy Pride Month. Don't talk bad about that because unless you want God to suck a dick. Here we go. Because the name there's no his name is not on there, so that was the joke. Because he put his name on the Kennedy Center, but now it's being removed right before his birthday. So happy birthday, Trump! It's a joke. It's sarcasm. It's called sarcasm. Oh, Josh C says sarcasm. Yes, but I think Josh when he says it, he goes because he's in theater mode. He's like sarcasm, Misty. Sarcasm. West Webb, no Christian or any other religion for that matter involves having their God mocked. How do you know? God might like dick. He might like to suck a dick. You don't know. Has God ever told you, West Webb, I don't like sucking dick? Maybe he likes it. You don't know. It's not mocking. All right, anyhow, I'm skipping down. Rhett is here, PS7IP or IO or something. It says pedophile logic, we have power stations for data centers, not EVs. I'm not sure what that means because there are charging stations for EVs, so all over the place. And they're getting more and more, and not just Tesla superchargers. They've got Iona is a good one. That is being put together by a coalition of auto manufacturers, I believe, are making these Iona. It's called Iona. It's like IONNA. Weird name. Why can't they just have regular names? But yeah, Iona charging stations. That's how much auto manufacturers have changed their tune over the last 15 to 20 years. Johnny Cass, and that's the difference. You can't put a Tesla car fire out. What is the incident rate of Teslas catching on fire as opposed to regular ICE cars catching on fire? I'd like to see that stat. Wolf Jargerbring says, I am not against EV, but when regulations go out the window and repair costs more than the vehicles, I would prefer a hybrid and the tank is in the rear and does not fuse the door. Man, I can remember all the scare tactics about cars blowing up and people not wanting seat belts because they didn't want to be stuck in their car, all that kind of stuff. When I hear that, it just sounds like scare tactics to me. That's just how I see it. All right, let's see. I had another meme. Okay, so this was about the Trump says agreement with Iran scheduled to be signed Sunday. Guess that would be tomorrow. What do you guys think? How many times has he said something like this? Is this going to end the war? Is it going to be an actual agreement, or is it just, bullshit? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat. And I'm going to skip down and needle drop. Here's DPD, says how befitting the UFC fight is being conducted during Pride Month. Think about giant, sweaty, greased up, steroid-riddled men doing ungodly things on a mat with bats and balls swinging in their faces. Ba-da-bum. And Trump will be there. Oh, look at that guy. Look at those legs. He's a specimen. Look at that. Oh boy. Yeah, Trump is going to have a heyday. Johnny Cass, the new batteries that will be coming out can charge fully in 5 minutes. Yeah, the technology is changing. The batteries you're going to be able to charge faster. You're going to get more range, and I'm sure they're going to be safer. We still are in emerging technology. And Wolfjar Garber talked about getting a hybrid. I think that's a great way to go too. I've had hybrids. I think that's a great way to go, and that's a great sort of transitional step that a lot of people could take. I'm still pro EV, and I love EVs, but hybrids are a great way to go too, because that's less fuel being used because you get higher gas mileage. And when we're talking about millions and millions and millions of people driving millions and millions of cars, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Okay, I'm skipping way down. I'm going to needle drop. Johnny Cash, hydrogen is the real future. Hydrogen fuel cells, those are good. They had a big program in California that, I don't know if it started under Schwarzenegger, but I know, I remember Schwarzenegger was the governor, I believe, when I was getting my going through my truck driving school in Sacramento, and Schwarzenegger was the governor. And I remember on my off time, I remember driving around, and they had this like museum or something or not museum, but it was like some sort of exhibit, I guess you'd call it, with these hydrogen fuel cells. And they had like a Ford model of something, but it was converted to a hydrogen, and it talked all about hydrogen fuel cells. And that was really the first time I remember hearing about it. This is back in the early 2000s, very early 2000s. And I remember reading all about, going through this exhibit about hydrogen fuel cells. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. We should do this. Why aren't we doing this? And this was over 25 years ago, or, about 25 years ago or whatever. And, but EVs right now, EVs are the thing that are taking off. But hey, if it eventually becomes hydrogen, and I'm not opposed to a multi-pronged thing with having EVs, having hydrogen fuel cell cars or whatever, as long as it's not fossil fuels, and as long as it's safe and good and not harming the environment and not causing us to be 10, 15 degrees above average temperatures in fucking June. Deb Denny wasn't the first electric car made in the 1940s. I think even earlier than that, Deb. I think even around the turn of the century they had electric vehicles. Even maybe before the turn of the previous century. Not this, not the one we just went through, but yeah, they've been around. They've had them around for a long, 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 long time. All right, I'm skipping down and needle dropping. DPD says, Luck Dragon, you're only 3 years older than me. My husband and I have tickets to see my man meet Harry Styles at Wembley Stadium. I hope we're not the oldest ones there. Oh, well. Well, have a good time. Aaron West is reminding everyone we have channel memberships. starting as low as $1.99 a month. Great value. What else can you get? Where else could you get this type of value and this for $1.99 a month? And we have some mid-tier ones for $4.99 a month. So check out that the memberships, and you can support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, and hyping, and all that good stuff. And there's the Buy Me. And you can also support the show by going to Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee, and I'm out of coffee right now, but I am hydrating with my water. And so thank you for that. And also, there's a PayPal down there, link to PayPal if you want to support the show through PayPal. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. David Windler says, even the Pentagon was fooled by Elon. It's just 21 century. Missy Rose says, paper food stamps were much better than cards. Really? I think it's easier just to use an EBT card. Isn't it? Isn't that easier than having to have like stamps and you're like, I don't know, getting them out? And isn't it easier just to, I don't know, swipe your EBT card or whatever? I don't know. That's just me. All right, so I'm just now getting to Isolde Zinn's $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Yippee! I do appreciate you, and I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart. And Isolde says, Musk should be in jail for inappropriately invading the Treasury, and who knows, and probably other things. I'm not denying that. You know. DBD says, TJ, I was fucking with you about my grub. Okay, I know. I kind of knew that. Okay, skipping down, needle dropping. Josh C says, Wes, I know a few restaurants that have different prices, cash and credit. Wolf Jar Gerbean says, Starlink costs $200. Oh, then an added monthly sub. Oh, okay, so it's $200 to buy the equipment, and then whatever the monthly is. And I have no idea what the monthly cost is. You know, but don't think I haven't thought about using that. Not here, but like if I ever go on the road or if I was a truck driver again, the thought has crossed my mind to look into it. Mr. Spock says, Ron is trying to erase you, TJ. Oh, Elon. Okay. I'm trying to think, who's Ron? I think I kind of fixed it. My hat doesn't look quite as translucent as it was. I think I fixed it. But I can see up here, though. Yeah, it's weird. And it's not green. It's black. All right, skipping down, needle dropping. Johnny Cass says, okay, but we did promise Ukraine that if they gave up their nukes left behind by the Soviet Union and Russia ever entered their country under force, we would come to their aid. I guess. We promised. Yeah, we did promise that. And Donald Trump has shown the world that we can no longer be trusted. Even if we have a great president in there or someone very trustworthy when it comes to those type of things, excuse me, we're only as trustworthy as whatever the current administration is. And if we get a really shitty administration like this guy, let's see if this is the right way. Yeah, by this wait, I'm doing the wrong thing. Oh, by this guy. If we get a really shitty administration like we have with this motherfucker right here, then things like the JCPOA are not safe, are not any good, or to be upheld. who knows? And then with that agreement with Ukraine, that's we saw that basically not be followed. So, although we are still giving Ukraine lots of support, I mean, even today they still are getting, maybe not as much during Biden, when Biden was president. Biden. What I would say, Biden, when Biden was president. But they are still getting our support. But I don't think it's so sketchy that you never know what way Trump is going to go with Putin, or because Putin is his buddy too. So yeah, this is so Ukraine has learned a lesson. The rest of Europe has learned a lesson that they're going to have to start just not relying on America so much. And maybe in the long run that is a good thing. And maybe that some maggots will say, "See, that's what Trump wanted all along," or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, there was that agreement in place, and it wasn't adhered to when they needed it the most. Right now, when they were invaded by Russia. So now I'm just now getting to DPD's $20 super chat. So yippee! Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. There's a heart. There's a thumbs up. I don't know did I ever read it? Did I read it? Let me read it. Let's see. DPD says we need to ask ourselves why we can't have nice things, even when the Democrats have control. Change never happens because some of them are tied to crypto APAC or corporate donors. Or this is unacceptable. We need change now. Well, I wouldn't say that even when we have control that nothing happens. I mean, we do get things, but it is like half measures. Like instead of getting a single-payer universal health care system like Medicare for all, we get Obamacare. We get the Affordable Care Act. And I think it's because money in politics. That's the number one problem, is the money in the politics. The big donors, they weigh in, they insist on things, and there are too many of our representatives in Congress that are beholden to these big money donors. So they get listened to before we get listened to. And only when we have enough of an outcry do things start happening in little tiny increments. And these little tiny increments have put us so far behind that we need some big change. We need big changes. We need big clumps of change. We can't just do things in tiny increments right now because we're so far behind. We need some big chunks. And so that's why we need the numbers, because even if we have control, there's things like the filibuster that really fucks us over, and the Republicans go into their obstructionist mode where they obstruct everything. They will filibuster a motion to go on a bathroom break. I mean, they will filibuster everything. So we need to have. It would be nice to get filibuster-proof numbers. I don't see that happening, but I think we need to have 67 Democrats in Congress to do that. Just to get a simple majority at this point would be a miracle. But we need to not give up, and I'm not going to give up. And certainly, even when we're in control, even with bare minimums, it's still better than the Republicans being in control. And I know, I mean, that gets a little, we can get tired of hearing that, because we want big changes. We need big changes. We need Medicare for all. We can afford it. We are the richest goddamn country in the fucking world. We can fucking afford it. And all these other countries, Mexico is now getting a national healthcare, universal pay healthcare system. England has it. Canada has it. Fucking Israel has it. Now, granted, they have a fraction of the population that we have, but these other fucking places can have it. We can fucking have it too. It's just that it's just the greed factor. There's so much greed involved, and the money is corrupted our politics. Money in politics is corrupting. So the first chance we have to get rid of or to override or whatever it is we need to do to get rid of Citizens United, we need to do that. Because we need to get money out of politics. Because that is what is fucking everything up. And it makes it so much harder to get things like universal health care. And so we need to keep harping on that. When we do No Kings rallies or protests or whatever you want to call it, when we do anything like that, we need to keep harping on getting money out of politics. That really should be the number one goal. Because then everything else will have a chance, a better chance of getting done. All right, I'm skipping down. I know because I'm really behind and we're over 2 hours into the show. I got 35% battery left on my phone. I don't know how much is left on the chopstick microphone. It's still got a green light. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. DPD says, West Webb, anyone who continued having contact with Epstein after 2006 should be ashamed of themselves and they must be exiled into obscurity. Deb Denny says, oh, come on, John. Anyone can say and do stupid shit once in a while. Intelligence doesn't always translate into common sense. What matters is character. Smart people can be incredibly stupid sometimes. Yeah, that was kind of my point. Johnny Cat says, the first time I saw a hydrogen car while the man was talking, a cup was filling up with water that was coming out of tailpipe. He took a tea bag at the end of his presentation and drank it. I think I've seen that kind of a thing too. It's just like that it's totally clean. There's no emissions, no tailpipe emissions. All right, skipping down, needle dropping. Look Dragon says, Azolda agreed, and thank you for the super chat. I didn't know you were still here. That's nice when people in the chat thank people for giving me a super chat. Where are we at on here? Oh, the goal ended. Yeah. We got 3 out of 5 today. Thank you guys so much. 3 out of 5. I'll take 3 out of 5. That's a, what is that, a 600 batting average? I'll take that. DPD says, West Webb, I believe Kamala can and will make a comeback. And TJ, thank you. And the first electric vehicle was created in the late 1800s. Mrs. Spock, what's wrong with Folgers crystals? It's freeze dried. You keep it in your cupboards till you need it. I know. I have no problem with Folgers crystals. I don't think. Skipping down, needle drop, and Mr. Spock says I had to abort the homemade base gasket. It was too thick and had to order a new one. For fuck's sake, I'm just needle dropping, guys. So I have no idea. I don't know exactly. Like West Webb, universal daycare is impossible. Nothing is impossible. With an attitude like that, Mister West Webb, we can't even run a good Head Start program. Probably because Republicans keep getting involved and screwing everything up. DPD says, how disgusting and low we as a collective society have fallen when the President of the United States of America has mutilated a child's body while committing SA. Oh, it's disgusting. The stuff that we can't see in those Epstein files, but you know, when Jamie Raskin and I always forget her name from New Mexico. I mean, they're saying this is some heinous shit. Ted Lewis come out. We need to get those Epstein files out, and it is disgusting and sad that we have a president That's who was elected president, was a person who has committed these heinous crimes against children. It is disgusting and sad and horrible. Alton Gillespie's here. Alton says they will filibuster a potty break till there ain't a dry seat in the house. So I'm getting pretty close to what in the chat. I've skipped down quite a bit. I'm getting closer to you. MJ Daniel says Citizens United ruling equals corruption, and that alone should be enough to impeach John Roberts. Westwood, do we really think that Hakeem is a Zionist? I don't think he is. I did catch up, pretty much. It says, Zoldazin says, look, Dragon, I'm planning to go to a Pride Festival for the first time this year. I'll be alone, but the, I guess, Pride peeps need support in Georgia now. So good for you, Zoldazin. Good for you. Yes, absolutely. Give them support. And Lug Dragon says good for you. I said good for you, and Lug Dragon says good for you. I've been to No King's protest alone and had a great time, but I wasn't sure how many people were going to show up to the protest for the World Cup, so I stayed home. And I've caught up. Zolazan says that's understandable. So I've caught up, but we are over 2 hours, and we've got batteries depleting, and we've got the day depleting. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it. You guys are pretty awesome. You're a pretty awesome group of people. Thanks for being here. And we had actually a good amount of people that stuck around from the How Sparks raid. So thank you to How Sparks. Thank you to, I don't know if that's Andrea or Aaron or Susie Jones. I don't know who facilitates that exactly, but thank you. I appreciate you for the raid. And so whoever came over and you hang out with us, I hope you'll come back and watch me again and hang out. And the chat, the people in the chat are a great bunch of folks. So if not for me, come back for them, because I think this chat room is really what the show is all about. And so I hope you come back. Right now I'm doing basically Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I might throw in some impromptus along the way. I used to do basically Sunday through. Oh yeah, no, I would usually do Monday through Saturday and just take Sundays off, for the Lord's Day, for Day of Worship. But I was doing basically Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. every day. Now I've scaled back a little bit for now. So hopefully you guys will come back Tuesdays, Thursdays. I try to do 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've been a little iffy on that because of my work schedule and getting home late and at 4 in the morning and all that kind of stuff. So, but we aim for 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we aim for 11 a.m. on Saturdays, right after House Sparks. So hopefully you guys will come back. Hit that bell on YouTube. Hopefully that will give you a notification when we're coming on. And if you hit if you subscribe, it'll probably put me in your feed, hopefully, and you'll see me. And we want to get to 5,000. Our goal, our short-term goal is to get to 5,000. We're sitting at 4,488 or so. So let's get to that because I got a bottle of Hennessy. Just waiting for me to crack it open as soon as we hit 5,000. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. I think I got everything. I think we got everything going. I just want to say something real quick. I know Tough Cookie was here earlier, so I want to make my little appearance and just say hello to everyone. Thanks for being here, everybody. And yes, if there's a Pride celebration going on or any event going on, go out there. If you're straight, it doesn't matter. You can be an advocate, straight, gay, everyone out there together, having a good time. All right? All right. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, everyone, for being here. There it is. There it is. There it is. Wait, there it is. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. Thanks. All right, Paul. Paul got his appearances. I told you it's contractual. Tough Cookie and Paul, they have to come in for at some point during the show. So. All right, guys. Now it's time for words of wisdom. If you have something to write this down, you might want to write this down. For new people here, I always end the show with words of wisdom. A lot of people like to write them down. So just give you a couple of minutes here, a couple of seconds to get something to write with and a piece of paper for today's words of wisdom. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so for today's words of wisdom,
well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hostile of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Sad, and I don't cry. Sometimes I wonder why it takes so long for evil men to die. But I want you to know that when you go, you won't be missed. And the ground where you'll lay, we're all gonna take a big giant piss. And for your end, we all anticipate, without any love and too exhausted to hate. Your long-lasting legacy will be one of disgrace and shame throughout the annals of history. Your name will shrink, you'll lose your fame. And as you lay there drawing in your final breath, take a big old piss.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.